Okay, I feel like I've made this video before, but maybe I'll update it. So, does it pay to be a contrarian? A lot of the time I feel like nothing more than a contrarian. That I always tell y'all, don't get involved with parties. Don't go to these protests, something like that. Fed gang, this and that. Everyone's a Fed, this and that, right? But then I had done videos about January 6th saying it was great, this and that, right? Is it being a contrarian? I think so. The truth is that I like the idea of the government being afraid. It's like if you really wanted me to give the whole, Alex Jones sort of 1776 will commence again argument. Thomas Jefferson, at least at the time, wrote about how, we should make the government fear us, fear the people, and not be complacent. Was it done the right way? No, it wasn't. Ultimately, they were just LARPing, and they went in there with the guy with the headdress and all that. Of course, that dude is going to do some serious time because obviously he was the one that got among the most media attention. Why do I back down from that? Well, part of it is that was some real edgy shit. Part of it was, there's a difference between what you say when you're drunk versus the next day, like, oh, I can't believe I did that. I was excited. I was. But this is just an example. I've said before my allegiance, or, I'll say, yeah, China's pretty cool for what they're doing. I respect, Chinese culture, and I respect the fact that they are, returning to tradition, if you will, with Confucian values, this and that. But do I want the Chinese to take over the U.S.? Well, no. And I don't think the Chinese want to. The Chinese will simply be robber barons, where they'll fund everything and they'll keep up the facade that they don't have any power or that they don't have any control, when in actuality they control everything. It's a whole idea, right? And obviously they do have a lot of power. They do have a lot of sway. Because the U.S. has reached a saturation point in so many ways. Hollywood has definitely reached a zenith. In terms of box office receipts and the respect for these folks. A respect for their actors and producers and everything else. In a lot of ways, we've reached that zenith. Ticket sales have gone down. Part of that is COVID. Part of it is just that now that people have seen these folks on social media, particularly like Instagram and whatnot, you're like, fuck these guys. The same thing with sports, NBA, NFL, right? NBA, NFL have been doing a lot of woke stuff. Talking about BLM, this and that. Pisses off their white boomer demographic, which still watches sports on TV and on the NFL channel and NBA channel, and buying their fantasy football and all that business, right? But of course, boomers being boomers is that they run their mouth, and just Americans in general, this is something I've said and I still do believe, we're good at running our mouths and talking a lot of shit, but when it actually comes to doing something, we don't do a fucking thing. So there's still slaves to it. They still love their sports ball. Just how boomers are. There's a fair amount of millennials who feel this way. A fair amount of Zoomers, I'm sure, feel that way because they're raised that way. So maybe they get into football, or they get into basketball, or they get into soccer, maybe. As un-American as soccer is, at least in my opinion, but or baseball, tennis, nobody cares about tennis. That's rich kids stuff, but anyway. I think being a contrarian is important because you can be like, yeah, I can appreciate China's rise and still mourn the loss of this country. I can be excited about January 6th, knowing that it's simply a step in the direction that we all know it's leading to. Not the right direction, but the direction we know it's going, which is balkanization. And I've said before, I've said, I love balkanization, ha ha ha. I know it's not going to be great. I know. You look at housing prices right now, or the fact that inflation is going up. So people will get paid $12 or $13 or maybe $20 an hour, but it's still going to be the $8 an hour it was 10 years ago. That money isn't worth that much. You can blame the government, you can blame whoever you want, but I doubt corporations had some big fucking idea of what to do either. The reality is that when you live in any country, or when you live in any sort of society, you shouldn't just be a blind follower. I want to address this because I remember I got a comment because somebody said, oh, you're cucking to China. And it was from an anime avi on YouTube. So, of course, I took it with a grain of salt. But they did have a point. And it's fairly in vogue nowadays to say, yeah, China's base. China's going to take over the world, Ha-ha, capitalism. Ha-ha, dumb Westerners, this and that. It's popular sentiment. It's easy to do, right? It's easy to be anti-American. It's easy to be that. I don't expect some redemption arc or something like that where I'm going to become pro-America all of a sudden. System's dead. It's been dead for a while. I could live in the past. I could do all that, but all I can do is just keep moving forward and just see what's in front of me. It's a cold, hard thing. I think people are naturally contrarian, or more to the point, they are reluctant. They don't want it to be this way, but they feel like that's what they have to do. I didn't tell my mom, but I'll probably tell her tomorrow. But the loan folks for college are expecting me to start paying by June. I thought it was September. So hopefully I can find a job and I can start giving them money for 10 years, depending on how much I decide to pay them. Should I just pay the minimum, or should I keep paying more so that, I don't know. That's a whole other thing. But you feel reluctant. You feel reluctant about becoming this way, or saying this, or saying that. Saying, yeah, I enjoy what happened on January 6th. But when I hear these folks who don't like the United States, or that are anarchists, this and that, to say, oh, it was awful. Oh, it was a disgrace to our country. Shut the fuck up. You don't give a shit. You just didn't like it because it wasn't your people doing it. And I think I've said that before, but I'll say it again. That's why they didn't like it. Because it wasn't their people doing it. Straight up and down. So, as I've said before in other videos, I'm conflicted. And I feel that I wish I wasn't this way. But I know that this is the road I've chosen. You can't go back and pretend to be something else, right? Once you enter in that world and you start learning about Israel and Palestine, once you, even just a taste of it, I don't even know that much about it necessarily. Or when you start learning about what's going on in Iraq or Afghanistan or Syria, you become part of that world. And you become another group of spurgs that talk about it. I become part of that larger political YouTube sphere, you know? Trying to be a little bit different than everybody else. A lot of folks may call that contrarianism. I just consider it trying to have a somewhat original idea. Does it always work? I don't know. You be the judge. I think that's all I have to say on that. But I feel that needed to come out because I saw that comment and I said, well, that person has a point. It was a couple of days ago, but I figure I would address some of the bigger ones. I know that there are plenty of others, I'm sure, that people will be like, what about this one? What about that one? Well, whichever. But I addressed them, and I think I'll leave it there. So hopefully y'all enjoy this. See you later, and a goodbye.